So shall I begin?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
A very warm good evening to one and all. It is my honor to welcome everyone in this online guest lecture organized by Bhosla Career Academy, and I am even more grateful to announce the topic of this online guest lecture, that is how to join Indian Air Force. भारत के आसमान की हम है शान, देश की रक्षा को देते हैं अपनी जान, बुरी नजर से जो देखे भारत को उसे मिटा देंगे, यही है अपना ईमान. From these lines, we learn that how Air Force is an important national military branch which is responsible for gaining control of the air, providing the support to land and naval forces, often in the form of aerial reconnaissance and close air support. Thus, we all have gathered here to get the precious guidance about the importance of Air Force and most importantly, how to join Air Force. But before we begin with the online session, I would like to introduce our today's guest speaker. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to welcome and introduce our today's guest speaker, Group Captain Vinayak Govind Damodar. Sir, Sir's birthplace is Indore and he did his schooling in Akola. Further, Sir pursued his BE in Electrical Engineering degree from Amravati in 1978. He took commission in Indian Air Force in 1979. He did his initial training in Air Force Technical College, Bangalore, and his first posting was in Jaisalmer. He served in different capacities at Kolshed, Thane, Pathankot, Sirsa, Gwalior, Delhi, Shillong, Lohagaon, Pune, Jaipur, and Nainital. He worked in surface to area missiles, air launched missiles, fighter aircraft, troposcatter communication systems. He further went to Israel for special training. He also worked as staff appointment in Command HQ at Eastern Command, Shillong, and in Air Headquarters in Delhi. After retirement from Indian Air Force in 2007, Sir worked in HAL Ozar, Nasik, and after retirement, now Sir has devoted himself to social work completely through Rotary Club, Club Nashik, and by putting cherry on the cake. I would like I would lastly like to add that Sir is also a counselor working with a website related to education called shiksha.com. Sir, please begin your lecture and guide our students with your immense guidance and motivation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
I will cover my lecture in the following heads: introduction, different branches in the Indian Air Force, types of commission, different ways how to join Indian Air Force, training, important websites, payments and benefits, and finally conclusion. Let me begin with my introduction. Why one should join Air Force? Firstly, Air Force, the name itself gives tingling sensation on the body. The fun and the thrill of flying, doing something for the country, particularly in the field of air defense. And of course, after the Balakot strike, we all know the importance of Air Force in any type of war. That is why one should always join Indian Air Force. There are lots of adventure too after one joins Indian Air Force. Now let's come to the next interesting query. As a graduate or as a student, one should like to know in what capacity one can work in the Indian Air Force. While working in the Indian Air Force, there are different branches where one gets commissioned into. The first and foremost important is the flying branch. There are two sub branches of the flying branch. One is called flying pilots and other is called flying navigator. Both these officers in this branch are involved in flying of fighter aircraft, transport aircraft, helicopters, and anything related to flying. The next important branch is called as the ground duty technical branch or the aeronautical engineering branch. In this branch, there are also two subdivisions. The first branch is called as aeronautical engineer electronics, and the second one is the aeronautical engineering mechanical. As the name suggests, these two branches take care of almost all the maintenance requirement across all the work that Air Force does in various fields: aircraft, communication, radars, runways, and whatnot. The other ground duty branches are generally called as ground duty non-technical branches. These branches are required for smooth conduct of the operation as well as for the human resource development and many other related fields. The first of the branch is the administrative branch. Then comes the accounts branch, the logistics branch, the education branch, and a very important, that is meteorological branch. Officers of all these branches are invariably posted to an Air Force station to take care of the needs of administration, accounts, logistics, and also to give the data of meteorology when the flying takes place in that station. The education branch officers also play an important role in taking up classes for the airmen and other related aspects where they can improve their standing and their knowledge in the Air Force. Now let's come to the commissioning in the Indian Air Force. What type of commissions are there in the Indian Air Force? As we all know, there are permanent commission and there's a short service commission. There is also a third commission called branch commission, but it is restricted only for the serving airmen of the Indian Air Force. So I will not talk about this in this lecture. Permanent commission presently allows only male candidates to join Indian Air Force, though at the government level, the case is pending for allowing females also to join permanent commission right from day one. Once a person joins in the permanent commission, he has to serve till the age of superannuation. The second type of commission is the short service commission. This is available for both males and females. Also, this is available for all the branches, but it is restricted for 14 years. Luckily, the officers who serve in this branch are given an option to opt for permanent commission at the appropriate time. Now let us see in what way a layman or the Indian citizen can take commission in the Indian Air Force. The first and the foremost what we know is through National Defence Academy in Khadakwasla, Pune. A student at the 12th standard has to appear in an all India examination conducted by UPSC, wherein the students are selected after a tough examination and the services selection boards, and they undergo a 3 years course in NDA Khadakwasla where they get the graduation degree, and then the Air Force cadets join Air Force Academy for further training. The second method available for a student if he misses to join after 12th is after graduation. It is also through a common examination called Combined Defense Services Examination. This is also conducted twice in a year by the UPSC. The third is what is called as AFCAT, Air Force Common Admission Test. Through this also, the officers are selected for ground duty branches as well as flying branch for commissioning in the Indian Air Force. And Lastly, but importantly, if a student has completed his C certificate in the NCC Air Wing, then he can join in the flying branch of the Indian Air Force. Now let's see one by one the details of this. Through NDA, the students who join through NDA will be admitted only in the flying branch. They are given permanent commission and they have to be male, that is a boys only. Girls are not allowed at the moment. Here the condition is for the Indian Air Force, the male students with 12th standard should be with maths and physics. The notification is normally issued by UPSC in the months of December and June. And there are minimum and maximum age restrictions for this, but there's a gap of almost 4 years between these two. And a student can appear more than 2 times also if he is interested in joining NDA. The second important aspect or second important way through which a student can join is after graduation. That is through the Combined Defense Services Examination conducted by UPSC, also again twice in a year. Here also, only male candidates are allowed to appear and they should have again physics and mathematics in their 12th. The notification for this is issued in the month of October and April. Here the restriction is between 20 and 24 years of age and the candidate should be unmarried. Through CDS entry, a student can enter only flying branch in the permanent commission. Then we come to another major source through which students can join after graduation, that is through AFCAT. In this process, the student can join in different branches of the Air Force. Let us first consider flying branch. In the flying branch, whoever joins through AFCAT is given short service commission, and under this, both boys and girls can apply. Air Force conducts this exam twice in a year. Here, a graduate with 60% in any of the subject is acceptable, but of course, provided he has or she has maths and physics in the 12th standard with 60% marks. You will find this very interesting. Even in civil, when the pilots are trained by the DGCA, a student has to pass 12th with physics and mathematics. Here also, the age limit is between 20 and 24 years of age. The student has to be unmarried, and this is the short service commission given for 14 years. Then the engineering branches, that is aeronautical engineer, mechanical, and aeronautical engineer electronics. Here, both the permanent commission and the short service commission is given. But of course, permanent commission is reserved for male candidates, while different batches are conducted for short service commission of boys and girls. Here also, a student has to pass 12th with maths and physics and a graduation in any of the specified branches of engineering. Then only he can join either electronics or the mechanical branch. Here, the student can be between 20 and 26 years of age, but if his age is up to 25 years, then he has to be unmarried. Let us consider the other branches, that is of administrative, accounts, and other. Let me come one by one. For administrative and logistics branch, graduation in any subject with 60% is the criteria. There is no other criteria of having physics and maths in the 12th. Then we come to accounts branch. As the name suggests, for this branch, the basic qualification is BCom with 60%. In education branch, as the name also suggests, a students with post-graduation is required with 50% marks in any subject. The last branch in the ground duty is the meteorological branch. It deals with weather and obviously a science background is a must. So a student with BSc in maths and physics and then post graduation in any of the science subjects is the minimum criteria to join this branch. Let me tell you at this moment that it is not mandatory for the Air Force to invite applications for all the branches in every batch. Depending on the vacancies available, when the announcement is made twice in a year, that time Air Force announces how many vacancies in each branch, how many vacancies for female candidates, how many vacancies for male candidates, and how many vacancies for permanent commission. Then rarely used but definitely is available. It is called as NCC Special Entry. This is restricted to flying branch and PC as well as SSC for male and female is offered in this. Here the condition is the student should have done C certificate in the Air Squadron of NCC Senior Division while doing college. These applications are not invited routinely every year, but as and when the Air Force feels, then only the applications are invited. But as you can guess, here also the student has to have maths and physics when he or she did his 12th. In this case, if the student has obtained commercial pilot's license, then a leeway of 2 years is given for the age. The upper age limit is extended by 2 more years. Irrespective of the selection or the means of joining Air Force, each candidate is required to undergo a further selection process in one of the Air Force selection centers or selection board, which are located at Dehradun, Varanasi, Mysore, and Gandhinagar. After successful completion of the written test, the students are called to select one of the centers and they are given time slot when to appear at the centers for further detailed examination. After a student successfully completes the SSB, then he is sent for the medical in Institute of Aviation Medicine, Bangalore, or Air Force Central Medical Establishment in New Delhi for a detailed medical check. It's a very exhaustive list of what is checked in the medical. Subsequently, I'll be giving the name of the website or the link of the website where a student, a probable student, can check different medical requirements. If a student is found medically fit, then and then only his name comes in the merit list. The merit list is made on the national basis, and depending on the vacancies, the students are individually informed of when and where to join for the course. Then the training part of the courses. As I told earlier, after 3 years course in Khadakwasla NDA, the Air Force cadets are sent to Air Force Academy at Dindigul near Hyderabad. Air Force Academy in Dindigul carries out 1 year training for all branches except for Aeronautical Branch, for whom the training is of 6 months. The AE branch officers, after completion of 6 months in the Air Force Academy, then proceed to Air Force Technical College, Bangalore, for 1 year of exhaustive training there. Here, they are taught into various aspects of maintenance of various aircraft and also different aspects of the Indian Air Force. There are different websites available where a student can get information about when and how the applications are invited, how the application is to be filled up, and how the student can take advantage of getting himself armed with the knowledge with these notifications. The websites are basically of the UPSC and also of AFCAT, and also in the AFCAT website, there is a sub website for medical standards which are required for joining the Indian Armed Forces. Now let me come to the payments and benefits. After 1 year training in the Air Force Academy, the officer is commissioned or the student is commissioned as an officer in the rank of flying officer, and then he's posted to an active unit. Once he joins the units or even beforehand, there are plenty of benefits. Let me recount few of them. They are not exhaustive, but they are only a sample. While in service, there is a free medical for self and family. Also, there is a 60 days of leave and also additional 20 days of casual leave, which is required to be taken in a year. Every officer is covered with an insurance of about 75 lakhs, and those who are interested in studies can avail 24 months of paid study leave for pursuing their passion in any field. Post retirement also, the insurance continues up to 72 years of age, and these days it is only the person in uniform who get pension for self and family till death. In addition, there is ECHS benefit after one-time payment for free medical for self and family. During the training in Air Force Academy, a cadet gets a monthly stipend of about 56,000 rupees a month. Once he joins the Indian Air Force in the rank of flying officer, his pay starts at the same basic of 56,100, plus he gets the DNS allowance, the military service pay of 15,500 rupees, and besides other allowances on a monthly basis. There is also an assured increment of 3% of the basic every year. The AE branch officers or the trainees who go to FTC, because they are commissioned at the beginning of the training in FTC, start getting full pay from the beginning of the training in FTC itself. As one progresses in rank, basic pay keeps increasing. In addition, there are many perks like accommodation at concessional rates, availability of club, gymnasium, swimming pool, etc. If we can compare, or if you want to compare the today's terminology of CTC, which is employed by the private industry, the value of these different perks can be safely assumed to be about rupees 50,000 per month, increasing de facto CTC, which a person can get after commissioning in the Indian Air Force. In conclusion, I will say the life in Air Force is very nice. It's of course not full of roses, but it involves adventure, hard work, and also enjoying life to the fullest. Air Force offers various adventures, various things in life, and also, in addition, one can progress in the service to attain the rank of Chief of Air Staff for some branches. In nutshell, I can say at presently, at the time of joining, only males are allowed PC, while SSC is offered to males and female candidates. Age limit for joining flying branch is between 20 and 24 years of age, while for other branches it is up to 26 years. Of course, up to 25 years, the candidate has to be unmarried only. One can join after 12th also, and after graduation also, and after completion of his PG also. I hope I have enthused a very good enthusiasm amongst the audience to join a great service called Indian Air Force. Thank you. I concluded. You can take over.
Unmute, unmute.
Yes. Uh, Thank you, sir, for showering us with immense knowledge and precious guidance about how to join Air Force. We all are really very grateful that our aspirants are blessed to be a part of such an enlightening guest lecture. Our aspirants will get deep insights into the topic, and through your precious guidance, our aspirants will be able to join Air Force. I would Air Force. I would also like to thank Bosla Career Academy. Because of this academy, we are so fortunate to attend such knowledgeable online seminars and guest lectures full of precious guidance and enlightening information related to jobs, getting jobs, and establishing career not only in Air Force but in all defense services of India. I am grateful to announce that our aspirants get guidance and motivation for joining Indian Defense Services as Bhosla Career Academy invites experienced retired officers of Defense Services of India for guiding and mentoring our aspirants. Once again, I thank Group Captain Vinayak Govind uh, Once again, I thank Group Captain Govind Deodhar sir for this knowledgeable guest lecture and Bhosla Career Academy for organizing this guest lecture. Thank you once again.
Thank you.